How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be doing a One Piece villains tier list. We've got about 45 villains to go through, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know. I mean, I know vast majority of these characters, but like him, I haven't seen all the movies. I haven't seen all the movies, so there might be one or two villains in here that I don't really know how to place. Um, I think you can add. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just make an IDK tier. That's for characters who I don't know anything about, so I literally don't know how to rank them. Which I will go ahead and put him in. And that might be it, actually. I know all of these characters. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I just don't know that character. We can hop right into it, though. We'll start with Absalom. Um, Absalom, kind of mid. I mean, he doesn't really have that much of a backstory. He's a pervert. He's got a nice devil fruit. By the way, this tier list is not going to be going off power. Like if this tier list was just power, I'd be soaring through these guys right now. Like I would be pretty good with that. But like this is more so like their power mixed with their importance to the story, mixed with how I like them as a character, like their writing, their backstory, everything like that. Like I'm putting everything in play here. So I'm really trying to like analyze these villains, put them in fair tiers. Absalom, he's not the worst villain, but he's nowhere near the top. I would say B tier at best. But for now, I want to put him in C tier because he's definitely not a D. But we'll put him towards the top of C tier because there's a lot of villains that are worse than him. I like his abilities. Don't really like his character that much. Kaido, we'll wait on Kaido. We're gonna go through some of the lower ranking villains, like some of the ones that are more easy to judge. Captain Kuro. Captain Kuro, he's pretty smart for an early One Piece villain. He had a plan. He schemed for several. I don't know if it was decades, but like at least like 10 years or something. I don't remember much. I mean, that was way back in Syrup Village. And we haven't seen him since. I feel like if he had really strong hockey or something, he could definitely develop. He could get a fucking devil fruit. Imagine him with like mochi or some shit. Like, he'd be able to like stretch his body and shit and probably be really sneaky. And using hockey, he could fucking put hockey into his claws and be way more of a menace. He could be a menace to Logias potentially, but we haven't seen him use anything super impressive. He had the pussyfoot techniques, which obviously is probably way outsped by Gear 2 and Soru techniques and stuff like that. Actually, I don't know if it's called Soru in actual One Piece. That's just me thinking of GPO, but Captain Kuro. I also want to say he's C tier just because he's not dumb. He's smart. He has a backstory, somewhat. He had a plan. I would even go so as far as to say he's better than Absalom. Definitely not stronger by any means. Absalom would probably kick his ass. Because Captain Kuro, he could pussyfoot around, but he can't turn invisible. Absalom can turn invisible, and he doesn't have any observation hockey. Not that observation hockey would really help, but he definitely doesn't have observation, so he definitely doesn't have future sight. So Captain Kuro, I'm only putting him above Absalom because of story, just because of his plan. He was one of the smartest villains in East Blue, probably even smarter than Arlong. Even though Arlong is strong and has an army, and he's a fishman, and fishmen were really menacing back then. Now it's kind of irrelevant that they're stronger than the average man because hockey and devil fruits and all this. And so Arlong's very important in Nami's backstory. He's the strongest villain by all means in East Blue, at least at the time of East Blue. Buggy isn't super strong, but he's probably stronger than Arlong at this point. Let's be realistic. Okay, he has chop fruit, so that already makes him invincible to like pretty much all of Arlong's slashing attacks. So I would say Buggy has a good shot at defeating Arlong. That's kind of irrelevant to the point, though. But Arlong, I'm going to put him in B tier for now. Probably going to leave him in B tier, actually. But I wouldn't say he's high B tier. I'm just setting him there for now. But I know for a fact I'm going to put another character in B tier that is better than Arlong. But definitely B tier because he's very tied to an important character, Nami, and he was the final boss of East Blue. He was a really good, definitely worth 20 million berries. Probably worth more than that, realistically. He could have definitely surpassed his limits, learned hockey. Yeah, he could have been a lot stronger, I feel. They definitely made him out to be a lot stronger than he turned out being. I mean, he's strong. Like, he's strong for. I don't even want to say pre-time skip standards. Like, he's strong for East Blue standards. That's it. Any character, any villain after East Blue, except for some side villains, of course, but any major like game-changing antagonist after East Blue would kick his ass 10 times over. Arlong, B tier because of relevance to plot, mainly. Wapol. Wapol is a character that's recurring. I don't really like him, but he does have story. He does have a lot to do with Drum Island. So I probably will put him in B tier as well. Like, these two characters are definitely better, stronger. Not him as much, but Wapol probably definitely stronger than Absalom, and definitely Kuro. But also because of relevance to plot, I don't like him as much as Arlong. I think Arlong has more of an impact on the story than Wapol did, but Wapol is definitely worth B tier. I'm gonna do all the admirals and all of the Yonkos last. Those are the characters that really require deep analysis. So I'm just gonna go with secondary antagonists for now. Mr. One. Mr. One, he was a really good opponent for pre-time skip Zoro. He is a character who I could see coming back and being much stronger than he was before. Definitely, by now, he should have access to armament hockey. And I mean, being able to turn your body into blades and just immediately using armament hockey with that would be fucking amazing. Like, it's a really good devil fruit. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he might not be the best swordsman in terms of skill, but he's not necessarily like just a swordsman. Like, his whole body is like blades and stuff. I don't know if it's specifically blades or if it's just metal. I'm pretty sure it's just like his body is steel, and topped with armament hockey, I could see him getting a lot stronger. He's not super important to the story. Definitely nowhere near as important as Crocodile, but he pulls through in Marineford. He does pretty well. He was a good fight for Zoro and Alabasta, and I honestly, just because he is kind of a big deal in some places, I want to put him higher than Wapol, but not higher than Arlong. So I'll put him in B tier as well. Foxy. Foxy's trash. I mean, Foxy, like, he had funny moments and shit, but that's pretty much it. He's a gag character. He has such a strong devil fruit. If that devil fruit was in different hands, like, imagine if that devil fruit was in Katakuri's hands. Katakuri, no mochi, just slow. Motherfucker could use future sight and move super fast while not even letting his enemies get a chance. He would fucking use his future sight to know what they're going to do, find an opportunity to use his slow beam on them, and they're done for. Katakuri was slow fruit. I mean, there's a lot of characters who would be much better with slow fruit, but Foxy, garbage. Just garbage, absolutely. Fucking Spondum. I almost forgot his name because I hate him so much. He's weak. He himself is very weak. He has power level of 9, making him weaker than literal cannon fodder. And his sword, it's an elephant Zoan, somewhat cool, but not that impressive. Not because of importance to plot and because of it, the connection to his father and like everything in Enies Lobby, and like his father was the commanding officer, I'm pretty sure, of the attack on Ohara. It wouldn't be fair to put him beneath these two characters because he definitely caused a lot more damage. He he's not strong himself, but he did a lot of actions that could have gotten the Straw Hats killed. In fact, I might even consider moving him to B tier, but for now, top of C tier, definitely. Kaku's all right. I liked him as a character. His fight against Zoro was pretty dope. For pre-time skip standards. I mean, pre-time skip has some of the best fights in the series. But like Kaku, he definitely has gotten stronger. Just going off of his status as a CPO, CP0. Sorry, it's like 5 a.m. He joined CP0, so I firmly believe he possesses armament hockey and most likely observation as well. At this point, he definitely should as a CP0 agent. But still, Rokushiki techniques, very good. Or the 6 paths, whatever you want to call it. But I know he's not as important to the plot as Rob Lucci, but he's definitely up there. He was the one who told the Straw Hats that their ship was unfixable. I honestly want to put him in B tier. Like he made for a decent villain, but he wasn't like, he didn't make any crazy like impact on the story. Like nothing insane. Like I'm putting him above Spondum because he's an actual fighter and he like actually caused problems and shit. But yeah, Caulifla, another CP9 agent. Yeah, she was pretty cool. She ended up fighting like 2 Straw Hats, mainly that I remember, Sanji and then Nami. And she gave them both a run for their money, but Nami ended up pulling through. I'll put her right below Kaku. I mean, honestly, most of the CP9 agents are going to be around the same for me because all of them except for Rob Lucci are kind of in the same league. I mean, some are weaker than others. Like there's CP9 agents I do not give a fuck about, but Kaku and Caulifla, especially Caulifla. Caulifla was funny. Like she was always like everything in the world to her was sexual harassment, and her fight with Sanji was nice. Her fight with Nami was nice. She was funny. She had a good character. She had like 2 separate personalities. I mean, all of them kind of did really. But yeah, Kaku and Caulifla, they were pretty strong. They were pretty decently well written. So I'll put them B tier. Monet, this one's kind of hard. I mean, overall, she's not that important to the story, I feel. I honestly don't know where to put her because like I liked her as a character, but she's not nearly as memorable as anyone on this list. I'm gonna be honest. Like even I say that as I can't even remember his name. Virgo. Even Virgo is more involved, I would say, at least with the whole Dressrosa thing. But Monet, I like her fruit. Snow Stow Logia, that's pretty dope. I mean, that's not something I really expected considering there's already an ice. But she obviously was not that strong. She got defeated by just being traumatized by a slash from Zoro without even using hockey. I mean, obviously, I know why she was scared because she could have gotten fucking killed right then and there. She ended up dying anyways, from getting her heart crushed. But yeah, overall, she doesn't have that much relevance to the plot. I honestly want to put her in C tier behind Spondum. I mean, she probably could defeat a decent amount of these characters, but just because of how she was in the story, and I don't really remember too much about her, I just want to put her in C tier. Gecko Moria. After seeing how Gecko Moria was in the past and when he fought Kaido, I gained a little bit more respect for him. I really liked what he did with Thriller Bark, even though he was a villain and stealing everyone's shadows and shit. That was pretty cool. He had a good thing going for him up until, the Straw Hats had to take it away. But he could be so much better as a character. Like, he could be so much more badass. Like, he could have had a whole new personality and he would have been a lot more likable. His laugh is annoying as shit. People say he's one of the worst villains in One Piece. And yeah, like, in terms of, like, relevancy, he's kind of weak. He's probably... He's not the weakest warlord. I don't believe he is, but he's down there. He's, like, probably in the lower three warlords, I would say. But the Shadow Shot fruit is pretty cool. And just because of like the ties to Wano and like all the shit in Thriller Bark and like what he did in the story, and his connection to Brook, like all of that, like I like him as a villain, just not as much as other villains. But I honestly want to put him in B tier. I'd say he is the biggest figure, the best to the story out of all of these characters that we've ranked so far. I want to put Gecko Moria in B tier. And some people I know might have a problem with that, but I want to see, like, I don't want to see more of Gecko Moria, but I just, like, want to see more of Shadowfruit, Like, if Gecko Moria gets killed, which it's likely that Gecko Moria is already dead. Okay, he's either dead or he joined Blackbeard. And since we haven't seen him yet, I want to say he's dead. It would be really cool to see Shadowfruit again in the form of another person. Maybe they use completely different techniques and stuff. I mean, obviously it's still the same fruit, so they'll do some of the same shit. But like, seeing someone who's smarter or at least stronger than Gecko Moria using the Shadowfruit, it could turn out to be really deadly. It could be pretty legendary. I mean, I doubt this would happen, but imagine if Blackbeard had 8 Shadow as well. Maybe he has 3 fruits now. This is like, there's nothing to go off of with this. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I know that. But, like, if he used Shadow Fruit and combined with Darkness Fruit, that would just be badass. It would just be, like, complete Darkness Shadows. And let's see. So we got some Admirals. Okay, Smoker. Smoker... It's not a bad character. Definitely not bad. But he could have been handled a little better. I feel like he's weaker than he deserves to be. Because he's been relevant since lockdown. He's been not as much anymore, but back then he was on the hunt for the Straw Hats. He ended up meeting up with them in Alabasta and Punk Hazard. And a little bit in Marineford. And then I don't really know. I don't think he appears much after that. But Smoker, I like him as a character. I like his Devil Fruit. I feel like he has a lot of potential. He does know hockey. Like he has armament and observation, and I don't know how strong his armament is. I know it's stronger than Toshigi's, but Toshigi's kind of weak. Let's not cap here. But Smoker, I think he's pretty important to the story because he shows up at some of the most important times, and like I like the dynamic he has with Luffy. I feel like we'll definitely see him again. Maybe he'll be stronger and he'll try to take down Luffy again, and fucking Dragon will stop him or some shit. I don't see Smoker really becoming that much of a threat, but I do want to put him in. I want to put him in top of B tier. I don't want to say he's an A tier because he's definitely not A tier, but B tier, better than Gecko Moria. Yes, I would say that. I think he's more relevant. I think he has better scenes. He has good story. Yeah, I would put him there. And we'll leave Blackbeard. Shiryu. Shiryu is... I don't believe he's the first commander. I think Jesus Burgess is the first commander of Blackbeard. But just going off merit alone and what we've seen, Shiryu definitely is probably the strongest member, other than Blackbeard. Now, Aokiji, if you're counting him, obviously not. But I'm not too sure yet if Aokiji is in the crew or if he's like an ally. But Shiryu, he's in the top three. He's one of the strongest members of the Blackbeard Pirates, as far as I know. And I'm sure he has armament hockey. I don't know for sure, but he has to. He's in a fucking Yonko crew. He's a commander. He has to have at least observation and armament. I don't see him having conquerors, but at the same time, I wouldn't deny the possibility. But he ate the clear fruit, and he's definitely a lot more of a menace than Absalom ever could be. So I want to rank him. I don't really like. I mean, obviously most of the Blackbeard pirates, they don't really have that much story, so I can't really judge them too hard for that. But like, going off just like merit, like he definitely was known in Impel Down, and he was introduced to us as like just a prison or ex prison guard because he got so violent. So they kind of foreshadowed that he would join Blackbeard a little bit, and I kind of like that. I want to put him right here above Arlong, because he's definitely, in the grand scheme of things, going to be a lot more relevant than Arlong. Below Gecko Moria, just because Gecko Moria, I feel like, was probably stronger. At least, first introductions and shit. But like also because Gecko Moria Gecko Moria was the captain of his own crew. He had a widespread plan. He had a really good army. He himself may have not been that strong, but his crew was probably one of the strongest in the world at the time. Aside from Yonko crews and stuff. He had the biggest pirate ship in the world. So that's the main reasons why I'm putting Gecko Moria so high. It's not because of the character himself as an individual, it's because of his crew. And it's gonna be interesting to rank Mihawk now I think about it, because he does not have a crew at all. He is a standalone man, but he has the fucking skills to back that up, let's be honest. Buggy, I don't think he's going to be like an in-game villain or anything. Or, I definitely think he's stronger than he was when he was first introduced. He has to be. He has to be a lot stronger. Did he grow as much as Luffy? I doubt it. I don't think I think even Kobe is probably stronger than Buggy, if I'm being honest. But Buggy, he's very important. Okay, as weak as he is, very important to the story. Probably I'm pretty sure the most reoccurring villain. I mean, he shows up in arcs where he's not even like called for. Like, he just shows up. More so in pre-time skip that happens, but I really liked his role in Impel Down. Impel Down and Marineford definitely expanded his character quite a bit. And his relation to Buggy, his relation to Roger, it's all very important. And I feel like Buggy could be a potential ally or just stay an enemy. I mean, he's most likely going to be an enemy in the future, but who knows? We'll see what happens with the Cross Guild. I'm really excited about that, because I knew Crocodile was going to become more relevant again. And we've been waiting for that since Marineford. And now it's finally happening. Everything's just getting set up for the end game. And I think Buggy, just like Moria, he himself is not the strongest. I mean, Buggy is pretty much invincible to slash attacks. So that's kind of like a nice inverse of Luffy. Like, Luffy is fucked by slash attacks. Buggy doesn't give a shit. Of course, Buggy's getting his ass handed to him by Luffy any day. Like, Luffy, like, even like like, I would say like Gear 2, Gear 3, like Enies Lobby Luffy would probably still beat Buggy. Like, post-time skip Buggy. I might be wrong. If Buggy knows hockey, then I'm definitely wrong. But I don't think we've seen Buggy use hockey. I'm pretty sure we have not. I'm not certain. But Buggy, because of how important he is, I gotta put him in A tier. I gotta put Buggy in A tier. And yeah, like I like Buggy more than all of these characters. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Buggy is really important. He's very likable. He is a charismatic leader. Yeah, he doesn't have the strongest crew, but he has a lot. He's very high in numbers. He can easily get people to support him. He's kind of a gag character in some ways. Not really a full-on gag character. Like no one's a full-on gag. Okay, maybe not no one. Okay, this guy, of course, but like people say Usopp's a gag character. Like these are not gag characters. Okay, they're weak, and sometimes they're like worshipped as if they're like one of the strongest characters in the show. Like what happens with Buggy and especially Usopp. But like you can't say they're gag characters because they're like very important and they're strong in their own right. Like every Straw Hat is strong. That's why I don't like to say any Straw Hats are weak because they're all strong. Of course, Luffy's stronger than all of them, and Zoro is the second strongest. But like they're all, in the grand scheme of things, strong characters. Like you'll see Usopp beat some of the strongest Devil Fruit users in the series. Speaking of which, Perona. Perona is my favorite character that was introduced in Thriller Bark. I don't know. I really wish she would have more relevance to the plot, like now, but I don't see how they could really work her in there. Like, obviously, she has a connection to Zoro and Mihawk on a lower level, kind of, but, she spent 2 years with them, so I expect her and Zoro to be at least friends somewhat. Like, if not friends, then acquaintances that respect each other. Like, obviously, she's not like an antagonist to the Straw Hats anymore. If Perona returns, I would definitely see her being an ally at this point. I don't see Perona returning as a villain. But I mean, there's a chance we won't ever see her again until like the end, maybe. I don't know. I feel like every character that's made like a good impression on the series will return at some point. I just don't know the scale of how important they will be. Perona, like obviously, I'm not going to complain if she doesn't show up again, but like she was a pretty likable character. She's definitely probably not stronger than Moria, but her techniques, her Devil Fruit is pretty broken. Like she can literally bring anyone in the world to their knees except for Usopp. I mean, I'm sure there's probably other characters out there who could avoid her power one way or another, but vast majority of characters in One Piece, while not necessarily being defeated, because Perona doesn't have that high of an attack power, they could be stopped. She's a suppressor, not a killer, if that makes sense. But I honestly want to put Perona in A tier. Like she's a likable character. She's probably the best written out of the Thriller Bark pirates. I mean, Gecko Moria is kind of up there as well, but Perona was my favorite character introduced in Thriller Bark. Actually, I might have to say no because I forgot he was introduced in Thriller Bark as well. Perona's still an A tier, but Kuma is very, at least at first, he was very unpredictable. Like he's just out of fucking nowhere. Like, holy shit, like Thriller Bark, you saw Gecko Moria, and then bam, another warlord. 2 warlords in one arc. That doesn't happen very often. At least back then. I mean, of course, now it's not a big deal, but like, for pre-time skip, that was pretty interesting. You see a whole new fucking warlord show up, and he's there to eliminate Straw Hat Luffy and shit, and then the shit with Zoro happens. And then Kuma becomes very honorable. He obviously was a member of the Revolutionary Army, and he's a fucking cyborg and a half. Actually, he's a pacifista. But his Devil Fruit, Pawpaw Fruit, fucking awesome. Kuma, I want to put actually, yeah, no, Kuma's like up in the A tier for sure. Like he's very important to the plot. It was just revealed he's Bonnie's father, and he's the ancient leader of not ancient, but like leader of a kingdom, or he was the leader of a kingdom like a long time ago. I don't know how long, but A tier definitely important. Definitely going to return. He's gonna get fixed probably and shit. He's gonna help. Hopefully, we see him reunite with Dragon. I'm sure that'll happen. He'll reunite with Dragon. They'll make an alliance with Luffy, and it'll start a fucking war. That's what's gonna happen, I think. Virgo. Virgo. He's pretty connected to Law's story, and he's one of like 2 people in all of One Piece that has full body armament hockey. That shit was insane when I first saw it. His fight against Law was pretty dope. I want to put him in like honestly right behind Smoker, just because Smoker I like him more. But Virgo definitely was strong as fuck and pretty impactful in the Dressrosa story. So I gotta put him right there. Like I feel like it's fair to put Smoker and Virgo right next to each other. TBH. Magellan. Magellan was all right. He had to take a shit every 2 minutes, but he he has a really dope ass ability. Very strong. Can eliminate almost any character. Like he's a threat to Blackbeard. He was a threat. He almost had the entire Blackbeard crew fucking dead, like 6 feet under. Going off that alone, but also his fight with Luffy. I mean, he would have killed Luffy too. I want to put him. I still like Perona more, so I'm just gonna put him there. He could have been more well written, but he's definitely up there. He's a pretty decent villain. Caesar Clown. Be high B tier. I really love his Devil Fruit. His Devil Fruit is more broken than he acts like it is. There's so much more he can do with his power than he actually does. But we've already seen him do a lot. Like he can make any gas to any degree, to any intensity, any concentration, any gas that exists on the world. He can conjure it. Like it is absolutely broken. He could kill fucking anyone, almost. But yeah, B tier because he's funny. He has good story, but we could definitely we could use some more information. Like there's definitely a lot more to his past than we know. Vinsmoke Judge. Vinsmoke Judge, I honestly would have put him in A tier. Because like his connection to Sanji is so fucking deep, and like it is like deep as in like deep fucking shit, because he was absolutely a child abuser. He forced his children, of course most of his children respect him, but like he forced his children into genetic transmutation and shit. But yeah, A tier because he's pretty strong. I don't know a lot about his power, but just what he does, Derma 66, like definitely nothing to sneeze at. Like he is up there. In fact, I would put him higher than Magellan, like right there. Horty Jones, fucking, Fishman Island. It had good parts, but overall, it's like one of my least. It may be my least favorite arc, if we're not counting Foxy Pirates arc and filler arcs. Fishman Island, I kind of slept on it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but Horty Jones, he was just a fucking classic drug addict. He took too many perkies. He was obsessed with getting high because he thought it made him stronger, which it did, but he still was really fucking weak. Like he got clapped by Zoro, like fucking. He got clapped by Zoro, and then Luffy came to finish the leftovers. And I don't really like his backstory. I think he's just kind of like a knockoff Arlong. Of course, he's stronger than Arlong, but he just doesn't have a very good reason for his actions. He's kind of a shithead, honestly. Inaru, I fucking love Inaru. Inaru is pretty cool. He's definitely going to be important again. Yeah. I want to put Inaru in A tier because he's very important. At least earlier, I feel like he's going to be important again because he's the only character we know of that's gone to the moon. I mean, there's been more characters, but like he went to the moon. He's obviously doing something on the moon. He's, I think, the first, other than like Buggy and shit, like he's the first major villain to escape after being taken down by Luffy, and not many villains do that at all. Like most of them get sent to the prison, or they just live because they're strong as fuck, like Yonkos. But Inaru could have absolutely been taken down, could have been turned into the government, but luckily he was on Sky Island and he had access to his ship, and he escaped and he made it to the moon. Which is not usual for someone who commits that level of atrocity. Like Inaru was a bad fucking guy. He did a lot of bad shit. But I love him because I love his devil fruit. Like one of my favorites in the series, definitely. Like fucking OPS fruit. He had a really good range of his observation haki before we even knew what observation haki was. So, that formal introduction to observation haki and just shit he does. His crew was nothing. Like his crew was weak as fuck, but like him himself, he is like a top dog still. Like he can compete with some of the strongest people in the Blue Sea, and I would really love to see that happen in the upcoming arcs. I'm 99.8% sure Inaru is going to return sometime soon, within a year from now, probably. Doflamingo. I really like Doflamingo's backstory. He's one of the most fleshed out villains in the series. Honestly, I got Doflamingo is very important. I mean, he is evil as fuck, but I love him for it. He is so important to the story. Still, even I'm sure. But he was the first major stepping stone, unless you want to count Caesar Clown, but the first major stepping stone in the grand scheme of taking down Kaido. And, taking down Doflamingo literally is the spark that ignited Wano. And, the first enemy that called for Gear 4, because Horny Jones didn't deserve that shit. Fuck him. Doflamingo absolutely fucked over Law in his childhood. He fucking has a really strong Paramecia fruit. Really strong haki. Conqueror's haki since the age of 10. He was pretty damn strong. He's one of the upper tier warlords for sure. Probably not stronger than Mihawk, but he's up there. Crocodile. Again, I really love Crocodile. Actually, it's really hard to decide who I like more out of these two. I definitely believe Doflamingo's stronger, at least, from what we know so far. Probably not by a lot, to be honest, because I feel like Crocodile, like, he got bitched on in Alabasta. We can't forget about that. But then he was fucking clashing with Akainu, Mihawk, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people in Marineford. Like, Crocodile was a character that Oda admitted was stronger than that he made him look in Alabasta. He was introduced too early in the series, and I'm sure he can awaken his devil fruit at some point. And actually, he may already be awakened. To be honest, he seems like he's already awakened, but he's a character who definitely deserves to be stronger. I'm sure he is stronger by now. He's got to know haki. I don't know if I wouldn't see him having Conqueror's haki, but a really strong armament with that golden hook would definitely be a major upgrade to him. Really strong armament, really strong observation haki as well. But I'm going to put him behind Doflamingo just because Doflamingo's stronger, definitely more involved with the plot and the characters. But Crocodile, my opinion might change because Crocodile's arc is not done yet. I don't think Doflamingo's arc is even done yet either, but Crocodile definitely has a plan up his sleeve. He is him and Mihawk, and not Buggy, because Buggy is kind of like their scapegoat, but him and Mihawk have plans brewing right now, and we're going to see them in action one way or another. It's going to happen soon. Senor Pink. I really like Senor Pink's backstory. His devil fruit is kind of meh, in my opinion. I just don't... It's not the worst, but like, just because of his backstory and his fight with Frankie, I really like that. I'll put him in front of Magellan. I'll put him right there. Sugar. Now, Sugar was a fucking headstone in Doflamingo's plan. And she got taken down by Usopp, of course. And her as a character, I don't really like her. She's obviously just a fucking child. She's like 20 or some shit, but like she's still a child mentality, still a child body. She herself is not that strong. It's just her ability that's very strong. But since she was a big cornerstone in the grand scheme of things, and she caused a lot of issues for Dressrosa, I'll put her right there. Um, mm, mm, I just I don't like her that much. Like she's not very mature. I'm only putting her here because of plot relevance. Really, I mean I don't like her backstory. I don't think she really has much of a backstory. She is related to Monet, and I like her more than Monet because she's a lot stronger in my opinion. At least in terms of her devil fruit, it's just a very impressive devil fruit. It's a very crowd controlling devil fruit, but not she's not strong on an individual scale, of course. Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci is probably strong as fuck by now. He's probably like the strongest. He is the strongest CP0 member. I doubt there's anyone stronger than him. Um, and I like him. I like his backstory. He's kind of like psychotic a little bit, but like he's pretty cool. He's got a cool double fruit. I definitely see him returning in the future. I want to put him right behind Buggy, honestly. Um, all right, Pudding. Pudding isn't really a villain. Like, I mean, you can say that about some of these characters, but like, Pudding isn't really a villain. She had an antagonistic side, but like, she's cool. I like Pudding. I feel like she'll get together with Sanji at some point in the future, but I'll put her there. She's not like noteworthy as a villain. She's not an antagonist as much. Like I want to put her here just because I like her as a character more than a lot of these people. But her power's not that. She's not really a fighter. Like she's not a fighting figure. And of course, we're not judging them off just fighting, but like like she literally does not fight. I I don't think she fights at all. Like she is not a fighting character. Her memo fruit is pretty cool. It's a good fruit. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't see how it could be used in battle. And I don't think she has any type of hockey. I mean, if anything, she might have observation hockey just because of the three eyes that might have a connection to it. But yeah, top of B tier. Um, Katakuri. Katakuri is one of my favorite characters in One Piece. I automatically, automatically. Obviously, he is, I believe, stronger than these two characters. He is funny. He's serious. He's so well written. He's fucking honorable. Like I haven't met a single One Piece fan that does not like Katakuri. He is fucking awesome. Like he's actually like there was effort put into his writing. He changes during his fight with Luffy. Like you get to see the inner depths of his character. You get to see him overcome his insecurities and shit. And he's pretty important to the story. Probably not as important as Doflamingo. Maybe not even Crocodile, but he was an obstacle for Luffy. He was a major what's the word? Um why can't I come up with a word for this? I'm getting really tired. Um shit. My bad. He was a major player in the whole Cake Island arc. His fight with Luffy is my favorite fight in the entire fucking show. So far at least. But he is up there. He is one of the greatest villains. Um, his Mochi Mochi power is very impressive. His future sight is very impressive. He was a major headstone for Luffy. He was a major like mark. Um, because Luffy had to actually he was the first person who had future sight that Luffy had to face. This character actually I'm gonna have to put her in I don't know because I'm pretty sure I've seen her before, but I literally don't remember a goddamn thing. I don't even remember her name. Like I do not remember who this is. Either she's from a non-canon movie, or she looks like she's from Fishman Island. I don't know. I don't remember. I genuinely don't. So I'm gonna put her in I don't know. Um, and okay, only one Sanji sibling was put on here, and it's I honestly don't remember his name, but I remember how he is as a character. The red dude. It's either no, Yanji was the green one. Reiju was his sister. I don't remember the red guy and the blue guy. I don't remember their names. It's been a while, but like he's kind of a dickhead to Sanji, but he becomes a little more respectful in the end, I think. But I want to put him here just because he's kind of important. He's not like super important, but he's kind of in the same league as Vince Smoke Judge. He was a big character in Germa 66 and definitely made an impact on Sanji for sure. Jack the Drought. I don't give a fuck about Jack. Like I'll put him. I'll honestly put him behind Spondon. Like he is such a just forgotten character. Like he has a few scenes and shit, but he's very weak. He's very easily defeated by some of the weakest characters. So I gotta put him down there. He doesn't really have an impressive backstory or anything. He's definitely stronger than a lot of these characters, but just because of how little he means to the story, I want to put him in C tier. Golden Lion Shiki. This man, I know he's a villain. Actually, I'm just gonna put him in I don't know because I know he's mentioned in like the canon stuff, but he's not even shown. Like he's not even a character that we like know about. Like in the he shows up in one filler movie, like Film Gold or some shit. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Film Gold. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen Film Gold. I think the only non-canon movie I've watched was Stampede, which Douglas Bullet isn't even on here. But if Douglas Bullet was on here, I'd probably put him in like B tier or something. Anyway, let's just start running through these characters. Okay, Parasparrow. Don't really like him that much, but he is the first. He's the first of Big Mom's children. I'll put him B tier. He's strong. He made an impact on the series. He ended up killing Pedro, or getting Pedro to kill himself, basically. Smoothie. I'll put Smoothie on top of C tier. We don't know a lot about this character. Like we saw her power and shit. She's one of the 3 sweet generals. But to say that she's anywhere close to Katakuri in terms of story relevance and character writing would be a long shot. Like I have to put her there. And since I put her in C tier, I want to say Charlotte Cracker is top of B tier. Like he definitely was strong in his own right. He had a really good defense. Devil Fruit. But he's, again, he is not anywhere near as important or as impactful on the series as Katakuri was. Katakuri is like these 3 villains are 3 of the most impactful villains on the series. They, of course, Crocodile didn't really. The power up required to take down Crocodile was getting your fucking fingers moist. Like, let's be honest here. But Katakuri and Doflamingo both called for their own unique transformation. Bounce Man isn't really that unique, but Snake Man is very unique. Like Snake Man was developed for the sole purpose of taking down Katakuri. And of course it would do well against a fucking massive amount of characters, but Katakuri's fast as fuck. He reflected Luffy very well through his actions and his Devil Fruit. I'll stop talking about him. He's one of my favorite characters, but alright, we'll run through all the really major villains now. Okay. We'll start with Yonkos. Alright, so Kaido. Kaido is a character who deserves a lot more backstory. Like, he has been talked about as early as Thriller Bark. Or maybe even a little earlier than that, to be honest. But, Kaido is a character who we know a lot about, but there's still so much uncovered. Like, we don't know shit about his time with the Rocks Pirates. We don't know shit about what he did after that. Of course, he's very important. He's a very big antagonist that's been talked about for many years in the series. We know his motive now. It's pretty nice. I want to put him at top of A tier just because, yes, he's stronger than all of these characters, but like, I just his character writing isn't as good. Like he deserves a lot more story. But of course, that's open to change. Like he's definitely a good villain. He's definitely like an in-game boss. Um, and he's got a pretty good crew going for him too. But like, in terms of like story and shit, I don't know. Blackbeard, Blackbeard is very fucking smart. He has a fucking scheme and a half. Um, Honestly, yeah, I'll put Blackbeard in S. Like he's pretty well written. At first he kind of seemed like a gag character for a while, but like then he started getting super strong. That's what I like about him though. Like he's introduced as a random nobody. That's kind of what he's supposed to be. Like he is a man that doesn't come from any special like lineage or anything like that, or like obviously he's a D, but like there's characters who are Will of D that aren't. I mean, every character that's Will of D is important, but like, there's characters who are Will of D that are not strong, obviously. But he is very fucking strong. He wasn't strong at first. Well, nah, he was because he had the Darkness Fruit. Darkness Fruit alone is very fucking strong, but Darkness with Gura, he's surpassed Whitebeard. I'm sure. I don't know about hockey. I don't even know if he has Conqueror's hockey, but we do know he has Armament and Observation, and he's a Yonko, and he's just going off of his Devil Fruits, he's one of the strongest characters in the series. He is not to be underestimated. Big Mom. I don't like Big Mom as much. She's one of the weaker Yonkos. She had probably more story than Kaido. But Kaido's a more likable character. I feel like Kaido's a character that would be a lot more liked if we got more backstory. Big Mom, she's crazy. She's very impactful in the story, very important, very good power, very, very, very strong crew. Like in terms of crew, Big Mom's crew is probably stronger than Kaido's. In terms of individuals, Kaido is stronger than Big Mom, definitely. Admirals. Sengoku. Sengoku is a character I don't know very much about. I never really cared about him that much. I'll put him top of B tier just because I respect him. I know he's strong. He has not the worst morals, but not the best. Like he was able to keep Garp from fighting Akainu, which I guess was in Garp's best interest, even though he had to watch Ace fucking die. But yeah, B tier because he's strong. He's important to the story. He was Fleet Admiral for a very long time, and even after his Fleet Admiral status, he's a very big advisor to all of the Marines. He's very big, like in the Marine category. Akainu, I honestly would have put him at the bottom of A tier just because he's a character that needs a backstory. Like you could fucking pass on with Kaido and not give him a backstory and still be okay. But Akainu, he's going to fight Luffy again. It's going to happen. Or someone. He's going to fight one of the Straw Hats. At some point, it's going to happen. It doesn't make sense to the story for it to not be Luffy. So I'm sure it's going to be Luffy. But Akainu needs a backstory. He's appeared throughout the series very, very little. But he's Fleet Admiral now. I don't know why Fleet Admiral, one of the strongest villains, the guy who killed Ace, why would he not get a backstory? I can't see that happening. He's going to get a backstory, and we're going to see like what his true definition of justice is. We already kind of know, and we've seen him do some really fucked up shit. But yeah, he'll definitely get a backstory. Kuzan or Aokiji. I want to put him in S tier. Him and Fujitora. I'm just gonna go say it now. Fujitora and Aokiji are the two most well-written admirals, in my opinion. In my opinion, these two, Aokiji slightly more. In fact, I would even put Aokiji right here. Aokiji's a really good character. Like I feel like he's very well written. He's very important. Very big in the grand scheme of things. It's pretty questionable why he joins up with Blackbeard, but like I guess it makes kind of sense. Obviously, he can't be a Marine anymore after his 10-day duel with Akainu, but very likable character. Very interesting role in Robin's backstory. Kizaru. Kizaru is a very fast man that talks slow. He's always high as fuck, probably. Um, I I I want to put him like below. I want to put him below Akainu just because I feel like he's definitely weaker. He's not as important. In fact, I don't think Kizaru is important at all. Like almost after the time skip, like we have not really seen him do anything. We've seen him say he wanted to go to Wano, but then Green Bull got sent, and Green Bull's not on here. So that is my One Piece tier list. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna end the video here before it gets too long. But thank you for watching. If there's anything on here you don't quite agree with, or if you want to share your thoughts in the comments, please do. And also, like I said in the last video, my Twitch is in the description below. I'm going to be streaming. This is subject to change, but as of right now, Thursday nights and Sunday nights are going to be my main stream nights. There's other nights where I may stream, like Friday nights and Saturday nights, I may stream sometimes. But my definite nights for streaming are Thursday nights and Sunday nights as of right now. Those are the two best nights where I am able to get on at like 9 or 10 p.m. and do a 4 or 5 hour stream. So at least twice a week I'll be streaming, and of course I'll upload a video on YouTube every other day at 10 a.m. That's gonna be my goal. So yeah, as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.